However, of course, she's much upgraded from the Ishizuchi. She is faster, slower turning, bigger guns, more guns. All that. Actually, no, I'm sorry. They have the same number of guns. But we'll see what we can do here. We are in a Tier 9 match, but it's just barely a Tier 9 match. There's only one Tier 9 ship on both teams. And both teams are relatively close to one another. And of course, we're in a, what is it, domination mode? I think, yeah, domination mode. So the Amagi, being a battle cruiser, she really doesn't have the kind of armor that that the North Carolina sports at Tier 8. The North Carolina is much better armored, but slower turning, but has a tighter turn radius. And I believe the North Carolina also has her outgunned on range. Yes, she does. Fully upgraded. You only get out to about 19.9 kilometers with the Amagi, and fully upgraded, the North Carolina gets out to 21.3. So you see me trying to just spray and pray around that Fubuki. 17-kilometer shot on a Fubuki, pretty difficult shot to make on any kind of destroyer, really. All right. So you can see I'm starting to aim in on that Pensacola, and if you'll notice, my speed's down to 14.9 knots. I'm down to half speed because we have the incoming torpedo bombers and the regular bombers. Alright, blast off some shots over there. And it was at this point in the match where I noticed that that they were really coming in for the friendly carrier. And so I thought, well, now that I'm fully upgraded with the Seahull, I might as well get over there. Help the Ranger out. And actually getting a bit of it done. This is one of those times where you'd really hope that your cruisers, especially ones that might have, you know, the AA defensive fire cooldown, might be over here to help the carrier, but as always, it's 29 on 1 until my team proves otherwise. I think it helps me prepare myself for when teammates do stupid things, or when they don't load, or whatever it is. They're not pulling their weight as far as I'm concerned. Well, you know, until they prove otherwise, it's all everyone on the map against me. And it kind of helps me not get frustrated when teammates are not doing very much or not helping very much. So it's already going pretty well for us. As you can see, we're already up 3 ships. And of course you'll notice that I tend to change my speed and change my direction, like we were talking about, quite a bit. It doesn't make sense to sit still when enemy ships could be targeting you. And as far as the method of playing your battleships, the Amagi really does lend itself to long-range battles. I know that the North Carolina outranges her, and some other battleships do, but her armor is very suspect. She has upwards of 254 millimeters of armor on around the Citadel. 76 to 254 millimeters around the Citadels. 76 millimeters. That's really not a whole lot. And then 22 to 95 millimeters of deck armor. Her extremity armor runs from 32 millimeters to 229 millimeters, and the hull armor is anywhere from 19 to 30 millimeters. If you sail the Amagi, broadside on to an enemy battleship, you are risking a huge paddling, as Jingles might say. Not very effective fire going in there. But more of the same from the enemy. Here they come in with these torpedo bombers. The Hiryu is it Hiryu or Hiryu? I'm not sure. Hiryu. Probably Hiryu. Sending them in deep. Really going after the enemy carrier. Or in this case, I think she goes after the Colorado next to me. Oh, we make her pay. Make those bombers pay. And although you can't tell I'm doing it here, I am holding control and left clicking on these enemy aircraft in order to target them with my AA and have my team fire more effectively. Meanwhile, the enemy team has started to close up the gap a little bit. They've taken out 2 of our ships. And you can see they're working on capturing A, C, and D. And map control is important in domination game mode, don't get me wrong. But if you can be sinking enemy ships, it kind of makes up for when you can't control the map. They've tied it up now, and here I go with a long-range shot on that North Carolina, who's being very aggressive. Just get a glancing blow into her. And I still haven't been able to move this Amagi up into a position where I can really affect the front line of the battle, because the red team is being so aggressive. And look at all those torpedoes. You see these torpedoes, you can't ignore them. You have to think that there's a destroyer that's targeting you. And you can hear the cat snarf. He wants to get in here now. Oh, you're recording? Now's the time when I want to sit at the door and cry. Probably upset I woke him up from a hard day of napping. Try and get some shots into the Miyoko. And, remember, use your ranging shots. If you're not sure of the range, how far ahead to shoot, shoot the island. Make the island pay. So look at this. Here we are. We're almost 6 minutes into the match. 5 minutes into the match, and I've managed to shoot down 12 aircraft and only 5 hits, 1 incapacitation, and I defended the flag one. So I really wasn't doing a whole lot in this match so far. Mainly, I was defending the carrier. I was really hoping, of course, for a Citadel shot right there. Here come more bombers. Time to come about. So this is a match where I'm really playing this ship way out of its bounds. The battleship really isn't meant for anti-air duty. But if it's stupid and it works, then at least you're doing your job. How do you feel about getting stuck into situations like this where you're not fighting the battle that you would want to fight? Of course, I want to be somewhere else putting pressure on them and not missing all those shots. But at least we got a little tickle hit in there. Finally get a little damage. And we're still one ship up on them. They're down to one destroyer. We still have two. They have 3 cruisers. We only have 2. And then they have 2 battleships to our Amagi. This fantastic ship that I'm enjoying, except for her weak armor. And another tickle shot as we sink that guy. We're up 2 ships now, and I'm still stuck in the backfield trying to do AA cover. Wonder if the turret crew are getting dizzy from being shuffled back and forth, turning around, turning around. I've got to ask, have you ever been inside or seen the inside of these main gun turrets? In some of the battleships, there could be upwards of 70 people from top to bottom. You know, these turrets, they go all the way to the bottom of the ship just about. And from all the loaders, you know, the powder handlers and the shell loaders and all that, all the way up to the gunners and the targeting crew, upwards of 70 to 80 people to man each one of these guns. It's just fantastically amazing what these people endured during World War II. One of the big enjoyments I get out of this game is this, you know, this chessboard, this living chessboard mentality where you get to pick your chess piece, and then you get to move across the board as you see fit with no controller. But it all came out of the reality of World War II, where you'd have these ships with thousands of people. Now, anytime you're this close to a cruiser in a battleship, you have to be aware that there will be torpedoes in the water. Just about every torpedo, once you get up to this level of gameplay, except for American torpedoes, have torpedoes, and you have to be aware of this stuff. And look how badly he missed. Why? Because I turned. And another tickle shot. Alright, here we go. Yes, it is. Our victory is definitely in sight here. I think part of the point of this video for me is that, look at this guy going backwards. Part of the point of this video is don't go backwards as often as possible. Avoid going backwards. Nothing good comes of it. And with us in complete control of 3 of the 4 map positions, it's a race to try and do damage on that Colorado, or to spot the destroyer and that aircraft carrier. One of the points of this video for me is that even when you don't use your ship like it's supposed to be used, this is not an AA platform, you can still have a positive effect on the outcome of the match. I think another point of this one is that the enemy team was way over aggressive. They pushed way too hard into the south part of the ocean. Unfortunately, you have almost no control over any of the other people on your team. You have to play this game with the mentality that you can't control the other players, the friendlies or the enemies, and so you have to do everything that you can to push your team towards victory. It won't help for me to sit on there and start screaming at the players, push or attack or whatever. You're a bunch of idiots. You know, what's wrong with you morons? That stuff doesn't really help. When I try and get help or try and get other people to do stuff, it's usually a request, you know? Can you please? Will you? What do you think? Let me know. Bam! There you go. This All right, somebody's getting fired. All right, here we go. 324,460 credits, 6,570 XP, 329 free XP, 19 hits, only 19 real solid hits, 21 shot down, 3 incapacitations, 3 destroyed, 1 set on fire, and then 3 very solid hits to the Citadel. Defended the base, we captured the base, we did a little bit of everything in this thing. And we got rewarded for it. 2,191 XP, which is an excellent grab, especially on a ×2 weekend. Which wargaming, come on, man, let's get ×2 going all the time, and then little ×3 every now and again. Or are you afraid that too many people will advance too quickly while you still don't have as many vehicles in this one as you do in World of Tanks? Guess that'll be up for them to decide. Did 50,000 points of damage on 22 total hits, and that's a great amount of damage for the hits, but I'm not real happy with the hits versus the main battery shells fired. We had 7 hits with the first shell type, doing 3,213 extra points of damage. We get a little bit into a couple different ships, did some nice damage, get 3 kills. And we only took 24,000 points of damage from HE shells. Here you go. After premium bonus, it gets me up to 3,287. Multiply that by 2, you get 6,573 XP, and that's how you get out of one of these ships quicker. Not that you need to with the Amagi. I mean, I do like it, especially now that I have it fully upgraded with the engines and the sea hull and all the other accoutrements. I'd like to thank you for joining me on World of Warships, and I hope to see you on the digital high seas.